Good day, my students. Good day, my parents. And good day, my viewers. My name is Mr. Mike Elekwa. I'm a teacher in Sleek Angels International School, Port Harcourt, Nigeria. The topic I'm to take today is actually an SS2 topic, but a revision for SS3 class. And the topic is theory of supply. And the subtopic where I'm going to concentrate is measurement of elasticity of supply. But before I will go to the topic of the day where I'm going to concentrate, I would like to refresh the mind of my students on the meaning or the definition of supply. What is supply? Supply can be defined as the quantity of given commodity or service which a producer is willing, able, and ready to offer for sale over a period of time at a particular market price. A producer can produce as many commodities as possible, but he may not be willing, he may not be able to sell at that particular price. That means the quantity he is willing to offer for sale is what we call supply, not the total production. For example, a producer can produce 1,000 units of a particular commodity and desire to offer for sale like 100 or 200 units. That 100 or 200 units is actually the supply and not the 1,000 he produced. That is supply, and that is what we call effective supply. If tomorrow the price increase, he may also be willing to offer more for sale. If the price reduces, what he will also offer for sale may also changes. But what we are saying, or what I'm saying, is that that quantity he is willing and able to offer for sale at a particular market price. Let's take it, the market price for today. That is the supply for the day. Okay, since our topic, or where we are going to concentrate, or where I'm going to concentrate is measurement of elasticity of supply. At times, there may be increase in price or decrease in price. Literally, you just say that the producer offers so and so quantity for sale, but the extent or the percentage may not be determined. This topic, measurement of the elasticity of supply, is going to enable us to know the degree or the extent the producer is willing to offer his goods for sale. Then, now take us to the definition of elasticity of supply. What is elasticity of supply? Elasticity of supply may be defined as the degree of responsiveness of supply to little changes in prices of goods. Again, elasticity of supply may be defined as the degree of responsiveness of supply to little changes in prices of goods. If the price increases, the supplier may be willing to supply more. And if the price reduces, the supplier may also be unwilling to supply more, vice versa. But now we are going to look at the extent that he is going to be willing to offer his commodity or his goods for sale. Okay. Now that we are able to define the elasticity of supply, This is the formula used in calculating the elasticity of supply. Elasticity of supply, ES, equals to percentage change in supply divided by percentage change in price. On the alternative, we can also use this other formula, percentage change in quantity supply over percentage change in price. In economics, this small triangle represents change, and this Q represents quantity, and this S represents supply. Then the same thing here. Then the P represents price. Then this is just the normal percentage sign. It's either you use this formula or also you use this one. Now look at example 1. Example 1 says, given the figures below, price of commodity X in 2018 equals to 14 naira. Price of commodity S in 2019 equals 13 naira. Quantity of S supplied in 2018 equals 200. Quantity of S supplied in 2019 equals 190. A. Present the question in a table. B. Calculate. Then 1. Percentage change in quantity supplied. 2. Percentage change in price. 3. Coefficient of price elasticity of supply. Then C. So from your answer in 3 above, that is when you have determined the percentage change, when you have determined the coefficient of price elasticity of supply. Now say, is the supply elastic or inelastic? 2. How do you know? If you look at the question, this is standard WAEC question. Let's now solve. Question A, we are asked to present this in a table, and this is what we are expected to do. Our price is in naira. Then this is the quantity supplied. In 2018, the first price there is 40 naira, and the quantity supplied is 200. Then in 2019, the price 30 naira, and the quantity supplied in 2019 is 190. And if you look at it, this is just the first law of supply that says the higher the price, the higher the quantity supplied. But what we are now going to do is to determine the extent at which change in price. What we are now going to do is to determine how change in price determines the quantity of a commodity supplied. We are now through with our first question, which is what? We are able to present the question in a tabular form. Now, B, where we are asked to calculate the percentage change in quantity supplied. For us to calculate this percentage change in quantity supplied, we are now going to know the change in supply divided by the old supply times 100 over 1. This is what I mean. Percentage change in supply will be equals to change in supply over old supply times 100 over 1. That is the formula that will enable us to determine the percentage change in supply, and that is our B1. And what do we have? Here, 200 was supplied in 2018, and in 2019, the supply reduced to 190. What we are now going to do is to say 200 minus 190 divided by 200 still remains our old supply, divided by 200 times 100 over 1. Okay, the next step now is to subtract 200 from 190. Now 200 minus 190 will give us 10 over 200, which is our old supply, times 100 over 1. And here, 0 can cancel the 0. And we'll now have 2 dividing 10. 2 divide 2, 1. Divide 10, 5. And the answer will now be 5%. Now we can now see that the percentage change in supply is 5%. That is our B1. Now we are now going to go to our B2, where we are asked to calculate the percentage change in price. B2, percentage change in price, which is change in price over old price times 100 over 1. From the example, we have 40 naira and 30 naira. I will say 40 naira minus 30 naira all over. Our old price still remain 40 naira. That is the price of commodity X in 2018. Times 100 over 1. Here, this 0 can cancel this 0. And 40 naira I subtracted from 30 naira, giving us 10 naira all over 4 naira times 10. 2 can go into 4 to give us 2, and 2 can go into 10 to give us 5. 2 can also go into 2 to give us 1, and also into 10 to give us 5. Now we are left with 5 and 5, which will now be 5 times 5, giving us 25%. Okay, now we are done with our B2, which is 25%. We are now going to B3. And in B3, we are asked to find the coefficient of price elasticity of supply. Is equal to percentage change in supply all over percentage change in price. And if you can remember, our percentage change in supply is 5%, and our percentage change in price is 25%. And this is what we are going to have. We are going to have 5% over 25%, which will give us percent cancel percent, and we are left with 5 over 25. 25 divided 5 will give us 0 points. And if we add 0 here, we'll now have 50. 25 divided 50 will give us 2. And that will be our final answer on B. Now we have determined our B1, and the answer is 5%. Now we have determined our B2, and the answer is 25%. And B3, where we are now asked to find the coefficient of price elasticity of supply, and the answer is 0.2. Okay, now that we have determined the coefficient of price elasticity of supply, and what we have now is 0.2, we are now going to C, where we are asked to use our B3 to answer if the supply is elastic or inelastic. And from our answer, C1, from our answer, in price elasticity of supply, if your answer is 1, that means the supply is unity. If the answer is above 1, that means from 1.1 and above, that means the supply is elastic whenever it's greater than 1. And if it is below 1, that means from 0.1 to 0.9, it is inelastic. And from our answer, which is 0.2, that means the supply will be inelastic. The supply is inelastic. And C2, we are asked, how do you know? C2, because the coefficient of price elasticity of supply is less than 1. Okay, now that we are through with example 1, in case if what I did is not clear to you, by the time I will solve example 2, I believe you will really understand how to calculate the coefficient of price elasticity of supply. Now example 2. Here we are asked at 100 naira per tin of milk, 400 tins we are supplied. And when the price increased to 150 naira per tin, 600 tins was supplied. A, calculate the coefficient of price elasticity of supply. B, what type of elasticity is your answer and why? You can see that this is also another standard WAEC question. Solution. First, for us to determine the coefficient of price elasticity of supply, which we already know the formula as the percentage change in supply divided by the percentage change in price. Let me take my coefficient of price elasticity of supply as ES. Then we'll now have percentage change in supply all over percentage change in price. Before we can use this formula, we have to first of all determine the percentage change in supply and also determine the percentage change in price before we can now the answers we have will now enable us to calculate this coefficient of price elasticity of supply. Then I will now use the percentage change in price as my A1 and the percentage change in, I will use my percentage change in supply as my A1 and my percentage change in price as my A2. A1 percentage change in supply which will be equals to change in supply over old supply times 100 over 1. And from our example, you can see that the first supply here is 400 and the second supply here is 600, and the change will be the difference between the two supplies. And here we have 600 minus 400 all over. Our old supply is 400 times 100 over 1. And here we have 600 minus 400 will give us 200 over 400 times 100 over 1. I will come here. And I find out that here, 0 can cancel this 0. And what we are left with is 200 divided by 4. 200 divided by 4. And 4 can cancel 4 to give us 1. And 4 can cancel 200 to give us 50. And here we have 50% as our percentage change in supply. Right now we are now going to determine our A2, which is percentage change in price. Okay, now we are going to determine the percentage change in price, which is supposed to be our A2. Percentage change in price, which is change in price over old price times 100 over 1. Then from the example, the first price here is 100 naira and the second price is 150 naira. And the change in price is the difference between 150 naira and 100 naira. 150 naira minus 100 naira divided by our old price is 100 naira times 100 over 1. Here, 100 can cancel 100 to give us 1, and cancel 100 again to give us 1. Then the difference between 150 and 100 is just our 50%. Now we are able to determine the percentage change in supply, which is 50%, and also the percentage change in price, which is 50%. We are now going to the main question, where we are asked to calculate the coefficient of price elasticity of supply. And this is the formula. ES equals percentage change in supply all over percentage change in price. Okay, to determine the coefficient of price elasticity of supply, we have EX equals percentage change in supply all over percentage change in price, which is the percentage change in supply is 50% and the percentage change in price is 50%. We have 50% all over 50%. All of this will go to give us 1, and all of this will go to give us 1. And what we have here is just 1. By this, we have succeeded in calculating the coefficient of price elasticity of supply. And what we have here is 1. According to the elasticity of supply, and our question in B, where we are asked to determine the type of elasticity, our answer is, by virtue of this one, our elasticity is unity. Because in elasticity of supply, once is 1, it is unity. And we are now asked why, because it's equals to 1. That means B. The type of elasticity we have from our answer. Yeah, the type of elasticity we have from our answer is unity. And we are asked why? Because elasticity is equal to 1. And that is the final answer. And now you can see the change in price. The first instance that the price here is 100 and only 400. And when we have increase in price, the supply also increase. That means if we now ask at what extent, you can see that it's just 1. And this is actually what the producer uses to check or determine the quantity of goods he can supply at a particular price. Okay, I believe from the 2 examples I solved on the board, you will be able to attend this little assignment I have here on the board for you. Even my parents, you can also try to attend. I believe the class is really lovely and interesting. The assignment is A. We have 20 as price and 100 as quantity supplied. Then B, we have 16 naira as our price and 40 as our quantity supply. And here from the table above, determine A, the coefficient of price elasticity of supply, and B, interpret your result. Once you are through, you can reach me through my email, akaandmike@yahoo.com, or my WhatsApp number 070-301-36123. Thank you. Stay home and stay safe.